Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk. Thanks for tuning in. On our Friday edition, let's get straight to the docket. First, Lori Vallow goes to court. Second, the Grim Reaper case in New York City has been solved. Third, a victim of Miss Maxwell speaks and says she's the evil one. Fourth, Ahmaud Arbery's alleged killers are in court today. Fifth, a situation from Las Vegas I just don't understand. And finally, our dumb criminal contestant of the day and a recap for our dumb criminal contestants of the week. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk. Thanks for watching. As always, if you haven't done so already, we'd ask that you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that little bell so that you receive notifications of when we put up new content or go live. Let's get straight to the docket. First, Lori Vallow goes to court. Yes, that's right. As you may recall, just the other day, Lori Vallow's attorney, Mark Means, had filed a motion basically saying, I want to enter a plea of not guilty and set the matter for trial. The court has immediately set the matter for a pretrial conference. It was all done via Zoom. I'm not sure why this hearing took so long, but it did. But a good portion of it was waiting for the judge to go look at the notes based upon the bond amount as bond was readdressed. So let's get to it. An arraignment, that's where you enter a plea of not guilty. And the state of Idaho now has 6 months from today's date to get Lori Vallow to trial. The court has set a trial date of January 25th through January 29th. Basically, both parties asked for a week to conduct the hearing. So since today's court proceeding is literally a little over 6 months away from the date as it relates to the trial setting, Lori Vallow was required to waive speedy trial to effectuate that trial setting. Now, what of real interest came out of this hearing in the big scheme of things? First, bond was readdressed. Is it surprising that bond was readdressed as it relates to this particular case? Not really. You can argue for the reduction of bond if there is in fact a changed circumstance. Changed circumstances are not simply the passage of time, but here the changed circumstance as it relates to Ms. Vallow in this particular case was the fact that the felony charges for the abandonment of JJ and Tylee have been dismissed. Now she has misdemeanor charges, and the $1 million bond was completely inappropriate. It would be considered excessive bond if challenged in a higher court. So the court did what courts do, and that is split the baby. Mr. Means asked for a much lower bond. The district attorney asked for, I believe it was $250,000, and the court set it at $150,000, essentially $50,000 per charge. Reasonable. She's not going to make it because she still would have to bond out in the other case in the other county where the bond is currently set at $1 million. What I thought was interesting was the fact that the district attorney has stated that he and Mr. Means had been speaking regarding venue issues. Today's case was set in Madison County, Idaho. The other case is in Fremont County, Idaho. Same district attorney handling both of those matters. It makes sense to consolidate these matters. And so what the district attorney has stated to the court, although there's no agreements or stipulations that can be presented to the court as of just yet, but there's been discussions regarding venue as well as consolidation. It would seem to make sense to change venue subject to the court's order or approval and also consolidate the matter since it would be the same evidence generally being presented. That would be judicially economical to do so you don't waste limited resources hearing the same evidence over and over again. We'll wait and see if either the prosecutor or the defense files a motion shortly, or it's a joint motion asking for the matter to be transferred to the other jurisdiction to save on these resources as well as expenses. I think it was also important to note that Mr. Means stated that Miss Vallow has limited resources available to her, which means the retainer is running out. The district attorney also noted that she's had no family visitors, and the only one that she's spoken to while she's been in the custody at the jail has been Chad Daybell, her husband. So it looks like, as I've stated before, you always find out who your friends are when you have a criminal charge and go to jail, and you find out who really is there to stand behind you, particularly if they're going to put a little money on your books or whether they're going to pay the retainer for the attorneys. Sounds like it's all drying up. Still think Mr. Means will be leaving us shortly. If it's not for a conflict, it will be for lack of resources. We'll wait and see. Next on the docket, the Grim Reaper case in New York City has been solved. We brought you this story the other day. The young tech entrepreneur by the name of Fahim Saleh was found murdered and dismembered in his New York apartment. As it turns out, his personal assistant, who has worked for Mr. Saleh since he was 16 years old, was a gentleman by the name of Tyrese Devin Haspel. He is 21 years old, and apparently he had recently been fired for stealing money, some $90,000. And apparently Mr. Saleh and Mr. Haspel had worked out some sort of private arrangement to make sure that that money was repaid. Well, where Mr. Haspel went wrong was that he ordered a taser, and he ordered it using his name and his credit card. The police were able to determine that information. They were also able to go back and look at the videos. They were able to determine that the man that was dressed in all black and had some sort of Grim Reaper mask on was in fact Mr. Haspel. He apparently tased Mr. Saleh, then stabbed him, and then waited for the body's blood to coagulate and come back the following day, where he dismembered Mr. Saleh's head, arms, and legs, leaving a torso sitting on a chair, apparently. Mr. Haspel is expected to appear in court early next week. We will continue to follow this case because Mr. Haspel has some issues where he thought it would be a good idea to dismember his former boss, even though he's the one that's stolen money. I've had employees steal money from me, and I thought as though I would be justified in chopping them up. So we'll see. Next on the docket, ladies and gentlemen, yep, that's right. I'm going to talk to you about a background subscription service, all right? Just like I've told my children years ago, why would I intentionally give you bad advice? I wouldn't do that, nor would I do it to you, all right? Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for a background subscription service. There is a small fee, but you can cancel at any time. But when you sign up for that subscription, you can search as many people as you want, and you can do it anonymously. Obviously, anonymously means no one will ever know that you did it unless you tell somebody. And when you generate that report, that will take a few minutes, and it will show you a search from millions and millions of records across the United States. It will include one's social media, emails, telephone records, criminal records, sex offender registration, divorce records, property records, everything that will give you a pretty good idea about the person that you are in fact dealing with. Think of all the cases out there, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about. If somebody knew who they were dealing with, you can literally do this on your cell phone and know whether this is someone you may want to be involved with. I told you previously about the subscriber who stated that she got this background service and found out that a gentleman that she was getting involved with, turned out he had a criminal history involving children, and then he lied about it. But she knew the truth. Information is power. It gives you the power to make the right decisions. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, get your background subscription service today. You'll be glad that you did. Next on the docket, it is day 15 of the Ghislaine Maxwell Suicide Watch. That's right, 15 days in custody, and Miss Maxwell has not suffered a suicide incident at all. Apparently, the officers at the Bureau of Prisons are keeping her safe. Well, one of the victims in the case related to Mr. Epstein is a woman by the name of Virginia Giuffre. Well, Miss Giuffre is speaking out. And what she's actually saying is that Miss Maxwell is more dangerous than Mr. Epstein because she is the one that actually set these girls up. She is the one that procured these underage girls to go participate in activities with Mr. Epstein. And she did it knowing full well what Mr. Epstein was going to do and was aware of the ages. That does, in fact, make her culpable, and yes, that is scary. Let me know, do you think Miss Maxwell is more culpable or the same culpability as Jeffrey Epstein? Next on the docket, the alleged suspects in the death of Ahmaud Arbery appeared in court today. The Georgia father and son team accused of chasing down Ahmaud Arbery, alongside a third suspect by the name of William Bryan, were all indicted in June on 9 felony charges, including 1 count of malice murder, 4 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and 1 count of false imprisonment, and 1 count of criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. All 3 entered pleas of not guilty to all counts today. What does that mean? It means we're going to trial, at least as of right now. The court gave them deadlines in which to file motions, the prosecution to respond, and there'll be a motions hearing to decide any legal issues prior to trial. Before entering the plea on behalf of Mr. Bryan, Mr. Bryan's attorney objected to a requirement that his client wear a face mask covering, which has been mandated, obviously, in most public instances, including in most courthouses. Mr. Bryan apparently thought it was some sort of political statement, and the judge said it's not a political statement. He wore a mask when he took the bench. Frankly, all 3 of these individuals and Mr. Bryan have a bigger issue to worry about than whether they're wearing a mask. Really? You better save your energy, Mr. Bryan. Although, I bet Mr. Bryan wouldn't object to wearing a mask if he had a Crime Talk with Scott Reich face mask. That's right. We just got a shipment in, and you can get one too. Hit the link below. Go to Teespring. Bam! They'll get it to you just like that. Maybe we should send one to Mr. Bryan, see if maybe that's a non-political statement, because he's saying Scott Reich is following his case on Crime Talk. All right. Next on the docket, a situation from Las Vegas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is just something that I will never understand. People that take pleasure in watching another person get injured. I just don't get it. All right? This video, it's a little disturbing, so I warn you in advance. But Las Vegas police on Tuesday arrested a man who encouraged a homeless man to do a backflip for $6 last month. The man, Larry Connor, who is 55, died 10 days later from a spinal injury. Keontae Jones, who is 28, has been charged with willful disregard of a person's safety. And in this video, Mr. Jones was live streaming this video on Facebook. Mr. Jones not only filmed and others around him laughed for some 10 minutes while other people actually attended to Mr. Comer, where he could barely move and couldn't sit up on his own. It was alleged that Mr. Jones was apparently flashing $6 and that he would give it to Mr. Connor if he landed the backflip. Mr. Jones actually landed on his head, causing a broken neck. I just do not get that. And although this Mr. Jones is clearly somewhat of a sick and demented individual, I'm not really sure it's a crime to have somebody do something and they do it willingly and basically they can't pull off the backflip and injure themselves. Just doesn't seem like a type of case that should be criminal, perhaps civil, but Mr. Connor obviously went ahead and did it, and he would know better whether he could do a backflip or not. Sad situation. I just never get it when people think it's funny when people get injured like that, particularly on video. I just don't get it. Next, ladies and gentlemen, the safety siren. One thing that criminals don't like is attention when they're about to commit an illegal act. And the one way to do that, because you can't always have a video recording or a phone going on when that very moment, but you can carry a safety siren. This little item will produce an ear-piercing 100 decibel of sound when the pin is pulled. That will not only scare away somebody that has less than honorable intentions, but it will also attract eyes to the scene of where you are. So if you are ever in a situation where something's not right, you don't feel comfortable, you pull the pin on the safety siren until people notice and things will be okay. You put it in your purse, you put it in your pocket, you put it in a backpack. It's there when you need it. Go to CrimeTalkOffers.com and get yourself a safety siren today. You'll be happy you did. And finally on the dock today, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Today's dumb criminal comes from Kentucky. That's right, his name is John Stephanopoulos. He is 41 years old, and don't let this one bad situation taint you of all the good things Mr. Stephanopoulos can do or has done. He is a licensed real estate agent as well as a licensed chiropractor. But apparently the other night, he thought that it would be a good idea to partake in mushrooms, the hallucinogenic type, ladies and gentlemen. And then what happened? That's right. He tried to break into somebody's house. And when he was caught, guess what? He was naked. And not only was he naked, guess who he said he was doing these hallucinogenic mushrooms with? That's right. Jesus. And what did Mr. Stephanopoulos think that he was doing with Jesus once he had taken these hallucinogenic mushrooms with Jesus? That's right. They were engaging in a virtual reality video game. That's all Mr. Stephanopoulos recalls, taking mushrooms with Jesus. Mr. Stephanopoulos, congratulations. You are a dumb criminal contestant of the day, and I think you may be in the running for the dumb criminal contestant of the week. However, you do have some stiff competition. As you may recall, earlier in the week, we had Mr. Conrad Tucker. He liked to run down the street naked and didn't exactly seem to know how he got there. Kind of a naked theme going on this week as well. Then we had Danielle Barbacow, who was a little upset that her boyfriend wasn't eating his food, and she threw a knife and stuck it in his leg. And then we had two more contestants. Remember the woman that grabbed her boyfriend's testicles so hard that she ripped the skin off from it? That's right. She's a contestant. And then let's not forget our 49-year-old convicted felon, Treg Palmore, who thought it would be a good idea to assault the gas station worker for being asked to put a mask on. And you know what, Mr. Teg Palmore, if you win, I will find you. I will hunt you down like the criminal that you are and send you a Crime Talk face mask. That's right. Everyone else, if they win, they're still in the running for a Crime Talk mug. YouTube, and on their ultimate wisdom, has said you can't do polls anymore, at least in videos, only on the community page. But we're just going to tally them up. So let me know in the comments below who should be the dumb criminal contestant of the week. And as always, if you want any of the Crime Talk gear without becoming a dumb criminal contestant, all you have to do is hit the link below to Teespring, and there's some really cool new designs. I think you're going to like the merchandise. Hope you get it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk. This is Scott Reisch.